Hello guys and welcome back. It's late. That means the lights are not that good in this video either, but I think they're fine. I looked at the last video and I actually think it turned out pretty well considering that I filmed for like 40 minutes and everything went kind of smoothly without even editing or anything the video. Because I don't really right now I don't really have the time for editing my videos. So it's just one take and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, maybe in the future I would add some more editing and make it like you get straight to the point and only get everything that's very important, more like educational, I guess. But here it's more like educational, but I'm also like talking and it could be faster maybe, and some things are maybe not, and I don't really need to say them. So I don't know. That's what I will do now. Because I'm in my exam period at the moment, so yeah, I don't really have that much time. But the reason I have time to show you this is actually because this is my exam project. So I thought, why not? Two birds with one stone. Um, I'm explaining it to you as I would to my teacher, even though it would be in Danish. But I think I can kind of know where, like I'm stuck or maybe struggling with trying to tell you where the code and what I found out. So I thought it would be a good idea. But the thing we're doing here is scraping data from Copenhagen to Cypern, and we are scraping for 1 month in the holiday season. So it's from the 15th of July to 15th of August. And then we will see if there's any correlations or whatever. Um, I've read that it should be cheaper to fly on Tuesdays. That should be the cheapest day. So I was like, shit, that could be fun. We are actually, um, we are free to do whatever we want to do. Our project here, um, we're free to do whatever. So I thought, all right, I'll dig into that. So I started scraping data basically. So in the first line here, okay, that's kind of annoying that when I click this disappears. I did not know that. So I think we will just do this actually. I don't know. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's probably fine. Probably fine, right? Yeah. Um. So um. First of all, I'll collect all the data. I have saved it into a CSV file for each given day. I did not show you how to do that in the last video, but I could definitely make a video how to do that if you like that. But for now, just know that there is like 30 CSV files, and right now I'm just merging them all together through this for loop with each file. So let's go ahead and run that, and then I can just show you what I got back. So I scraped 2,891 flights, and we have 9 features, as you can see. We can see the destination. This is just short for coupon in Kayak's search engine. So yeah, that's the destination is coupon here. We can see the out date. And one thing to notice here is that in the other project it was a round trip, so it was 2 flights, one from Copenhagen to Cypern and one from Cypern to Copenhagen. But in this one, it's one way only, and that's because there is a lot of there's a lot of different factors that can affect the result when we're dealing with the data from Copenhagen to Cypern and Cypern to Copenhagen. So to see the correlations more clearly, I've chosen for this project only to focus on one-way flights. So that way we can eliminate some of those factors and hopefully see a little bit clearer um, tendencies, basically. Okay, but yeah, we have the out date. So you can see that um, we have some different dates. You can see that it's we have some of the 8th of July and 8th of August and whatnot. So you can see the out stops. That's how many stops before we get to our final destination, which is Cypern. And this one says direkte, which just means that there's no stops. This is scraped from a Danish site, so that's the reason why it says direkte, because that's what it's called in Danish. And then we can see the departure time and the arrival time. And then we can see the company names or name if there's only one company. Sometimes there are more companies if you make a stop. But these here, you can actually see that it's only one company. So we have Wizz Air, we have Airgan Airlines, whatever. Yeah, okay. So first of all, as you can see, I scraped a little new line here, which we will not use. So we will first go ahead and clear that. So we will replace, we'll basically cut this and this with this line here, and we will replace the dot as well with nothing here at the end for each price, for each row in the price column, basically. So we'll go ahead and run that, and then I just thought it would be funny to see what is the cheapest flight to Cypern in the time period given. So the 1 month we're talking about, and the cheapest one was 187, and that's actually a flight with 0 stops. So that was quite interesting. But I found out that the most important factor when flying is the basically if it's like a popular date. So that's the main factor for price. I can show you later that when we get a little bit out of Denmark's holiday season, you can see that the prices drop. But it's actually the whole is a holiday season, but some people don't have that much vacation time. But are some weeks in Denmark where basically everyone don't work. I mean, of course there are some that work, but we will get to that. Okay, so the second thing here is to convert the company names to an array to see how many times each company appear in our data set, basically. So I'll go ahead and run that and convert it into a list of strings. So we will just see here that it is in fact a list, because in that way we can count every company, how many times they appear, and we can see that Ryanair has a lot of flights to Cypern in the time period, and Lufthansa and Norwegian and some other ones. I've just showed you the 5 here. But after that, after I've checked that, I will cut it down to only one company name, because consider this: if you were to fly to Cypern and the first flight was SAS and the second one was Norwegian, then which company if affected the price the most, which was the cheapest, which was getting the price higher? Like, you don't really know. So to get rid of another factor, because we don't have like an immense amount of data. We only have 3,000 rows, so we're gonna try and eliminate as much factors as possible. So that's why I'll say that if this company names contains a string, that means there are more than one airline company, then we will just rewrite the column to say flere flyselskaber, which which is just more airlines than one. So one, not two, one. Yeah. So as you can see here from the data, we can actually see over here that the list of strings with company names, we can see that that is just more flere flyselskaber, so more company names. But this one, it only has one items, and then it's displayed here. So, okay. Now with that out of the way, we can go down. And another thing that could be quite interesting to look further into is which airline company is the cheapest and which one is the most expensive. So for that, I'll run this. It was already ran, but now it's ran again, and I can see that okay, so as you can see, the graph don't look the same as it did before, and that's because that right now it's it looks like it's not taking into let me just see company names. So company names should actually be, oh, maybe this in place true. I mean, I don't know why that didn't work, to be honest. Okay, that was weird. I think I ran this. Maybe I didn't ran this command. That's maybe why. Yeah, I think so. But as you can see before, it was basically still looking at the old data frame. I guess you could say. Maybe we can still see it up here. Unfortunately, there's no airlines with multiple companies, but it was like Wizz Air, comma, and then Argin Airlines. Forgive me if I said that wrong, but yeah, and then it thought that that was one company. So that was not really clear data. So you really have to eliminate as much factors as you can if you're working with a small data set, at least. So that's what I did here. It actually took 40 minutes, I think, to scrape all these flights. So yeah, it took a pretty long time. And the thing was that when I scraped like maybe 40, I think, yeah, I scraped like 5 pages, but no one ever goes to the 5th page, because Kayak actually kind of sorts the planes, the flights for you. So they recommend good deals, basically. So the flights on the 5th page are probably not the flights you're gonna buy anyway. So I actually just think that like this is like more realistic, I guess. But I could have scraped the whole thing, every single flight from Copenhagen to Cypern, but yeah, I did not. So yeah, that would probably have taken like 5 hours. The thing was that I let the Chrome driver sleep for like 30 seconds before loading in more results, loading in more pages to scrape on each day. Because I didn't want to overwhelm the server or get it to crash or get banned, or I don't know if that's even a thing. Yeah, I know that you cannot scrape headlessly in Kayak without the user agent. That took me about 2 hours to find out, because I had another website which I scraped, and they didn't really care about user agent. So I thought like I didn't even know it was a problem. But yeah, that took me a while. And I saw some guy on Stack Overflow recommending to add a user agent when scraping headlessly, because when you don't scrape headlessly, if you scrape like in the Chrome browser, it creates a browser for you, and that actually has a user agent. So yeah, that was a problem when I tried to deploy it, because the user agent was not there. So I had to add it manually. But that's another talk. Let's try to focus a bit here. Um, all right. So another thing that could be interesting was to see the cheapest flight and the most expensive flight. So I'll go ahead and run these two. And as you can see, as I told you, this one is flying directly from Copenhagen to Cypern, and it only cost 187. So that's really, really cheap. And then there is this one, which costs 5,400, which is ridiculous. And I actually looked up this link here, and there was some luggage included and stuff that wasn't on this one, but like, what, for one way? It's ridiculous. And it's not like it was first class or anything. It was economy. Everything is actually economy class, so really, really weird. I don't know, but people are kind of weird if they buy that one. But as you can see, the dates here, this is actually a more popular date than this one, because this is kind of out of season for some people, and that's probably why it's a bit cheaper. And maybe also because Wizz Air is really cheap. I didn't even speak about this graph. As you can see here, Wizz Air is actually the cheapest option if you would like to fly to Cypern. Yeah, and we can see that the Aegean Airlines, we can see they are down here. You can actually see that they're kind of also a low class price range here, but you can tell that's the highest. It's up here. I really don't know if it's a fault on the website or whatever, but at first I thought it was a fault with my Chrome, with my scraping, but the link worked and there was a flight. The link don't work anymore because it was like 3 weeks ago I scraped this, and you basically, if you scrape it, yeah, it's some really long links with a lot of different features, and they basically make them not work after like, I don't know, 1 hour or something like that, 2 hours maybe. I think it's actually 5 hours or around that. I'm not quite sure, but the link don't work anymore. So I can't show you it, unfortunately. But yeah. So the next thing I thought would be interesting was to check the flight prices for each day, like every single day. What is the cheapest flight price to Cypern? And for that, I have imported this Plotly library, which I installed into my Anaconda environment. And they have some really nice graphs, interactive graphs actually. Yeah, they're really nice. I have not used it before, but you can get a lot of data, and see a lot of what's it called, details. Yeah. All right, but yeah. So what I did was that I grouped by the dates, and then I took the dates, and then I took the price, and yeah, and I took the minimum price. So it's only one value, the single cheapest for each day basically, and then I just plotted it here. So we can see that like in this area it's kind of more expensive, and yeah, it's like the same here, and then you can see here that that are some other prices. Yeah, so that's a graph for you to look at. Then we also have the flight prices for each company. I've actually so you can see like again, like eliminating factors that can play a role. Because like maybe Wizz Air, which is the cheapest airline, didn't fly on these days. You know, that could be why this is higher. Like maybe Wizz Air, Ryanair, they were kind of cheap. So if they don't fly these 2 days, that could be why. You know, you never really know. So to eliminate another factor, I displayed a graph here with each unique company name for each unique day. So like the problem with this is that we don't really have that much data, but these companies here did appear a lot of times in the data set, so we're actually getting like okay graphs, even though this British Airways, you can clearly see that there's no data here. Like British Airways don't fly from 30th of July to 8th of August to Cypern, apparently. Or at least I didn't scrape it if they did. Um, so, but you can see like kind of, around here, around this time here, that it's quite popular. Every single flight company have a higher price here, and then we can see the later in the holiday season it gets, the cheaper the price actually becomes. So that's a clear like that's something we can conclude from this graph. I can actually, if I just uncomment this one, you can see every single airline, and you can see like that's the same correlation basically. So, but I'll just go ahead and uncomment this again because I think this is more visual. Even though you could see it in the other, I think this is more visual, just to show 5 of them, so it's not like lines everywhere and you're like, what is going on? This is more like the human brain can process this graph better, I think. So yeah. All right. So yeah. Another graph is a flight prices for all airlines. So it's basically this one, but with every airline. And here we can also clearly see that in the start of the holiday season, it is cheaper. It's more expensive, and the later it gets, the more the cheaper it gets. We can also see that there is a lot more flights here. You can see that there's not that many, and it's actually quite weird that there are like really not that much flights going on here. I actually wonder if something with my scraper might have happened here. It's kind of weird, because it's still holiday season and there should be more flights, so it's a bit weird. But nonetheless, you can see that the price definitely go downwards as the holiday season is about to end. Yeah. So another graph. This is actually 3 graphs from Argon Airlines. I should have picked another airline. I can't even pronounce the name. um, so we'll say Lufthansa. Yeah, you can see that basically, yeah, the prices drop as well. So yeah, and that's like the same here. You can see that there's not British Airways, as I told you before. Like they don't really have that many flights going on here. Um, Actually, none of the companies has. Yeah, but you see, Lufthansa has a lot of flights, and also Airgan Airlines, and not that many for British Airways. Okay, so a thing I thought would be interesting to look further into was seeing, like answering the question if it's cheaper to fly on a Tuesday than any other weekday because I wrote it somewhere. But the thing with that was it's in the holiday season, so it's like, uh, I couldn't really see a tendency there. So what I instead did was that I said that the popular journey days are Saturday and Friday, and that is actually true. For for the most wanted the most popular flight dates in the holiday season at least. So that is what I did, and I said that it was true if the journey day, or actually, let me just go up because I didn't think I showed you that. Duh, duh, duh. Yeah, because that's actually something that I add, the journey day. Oh, maybe I actually added. Oh my god, I added right here. Yeah, okay. So I define the journey day from the day of the week here, and then I just compare with these popular days, and then I return either true or false here. Yeah, all right. So just run this, and the next one. So this basically just put it into the data frame, and then I will do a little bit of data visualization here. So I'll fill out the out date, the company name, the price, and the is journey day popular, true or false. So yeah, again, we loop through each of the possible outcomes, which is popular flight day or not. And yeah, you can go ahead and pause the video. I'm not gonna talk too much about this. It's just a for loop basically. Yeah. So if we go down to the data here, we can see that the prices, the median of the prices are actually higher on the popular flight dates. So there is definitely like you could save some money possibly if you avoided these days when flying on vacation, and if you have a vacation which is like 1 month long and you only traveling for 1 month, well, maybe try to avoid Saturday and Friday. Okay. So that was for the Argan Airlines, and we see the same tendencies from Lufthansa, and also the same results from British Airways. So it's like no matter what company, it will most definitely be cheaper to fly on a every other day than Friday and Saturday. Okay, so the next thing I thought would be interesting is to answer the question whether or not which time of the day is the cheapest to fly to Cypern. Is it night? Is it morning? Is it afternoon? Whatever. So I did a little for loop. I searched on Google and I was hoping that there was some kind of library for this. If there are a library for categorizing the part of the day, please let me know in the comments. I would really much appreciate that, but I just made my own. So yeah, if it's 5 or 8, between those, it's early morning. And if it's over 8 and below 11, it's morning. And then we have late morning, early afternoon, late afternoon, blah, blah. And you can see this was what I found on the internet. I didn't find any Python, whatever, libraries for me to use. So yeah, I had to create this myself. And then we just have this part of the day, and we apply it for everything here, and we take out the time of the day, and checks whether which category it fits into. Okay, so what I did here was that I saw that you can see here that the most the cheapest time to fly to Cypern is actually late evening. At first, I thought it was night because who wants to fly at night? It's just like, should I go to bed? Should I sleep? Should I not sleep? Should I, you come up the next day and you're very tired, and I just thought that night, no way. But it actually surprised me a little bit that it was late evening. But after some further, after thinking about it, it actually makes sense because you don't want to come to the airport. Let me just check. Late afternoon. You don't want to come to the airport at let's say nine o'clock, because then you really have a problem. Like, should you sleep before? Because if you sleep at night, if your flight departure time is at night, you might be able to get a little bit of sleep and then wake up and then fly to your destination and then have the whole day feeling a little bit tired because you didn't get as much sleep as you normally would. But when you fly late evening, like maybe 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., if you are watching in another country, 10 p.m., then you know you possibly cannot get any sleep. And on the flight, of course, there are some people that can fly, that can sleep while flying. But if you are making stops and whatnot, well, it's not really possible. Maybe if it's zero stops, you might be able to, come at late evening and just sleep and then wake up and then bang, you're in Cuban, perfect, everything's perfect. But I'm sure it's also because that a lot of the flights have stops. So with that taken into account, it's probably not that nice to fly late evening. So that's the cheapest. So now you know that, and we can see that the morning is the most expensive one, which makes total sense. You wake up, go to the airport, you are at the Coupon at 5 o'clock maybe, and you still have the day. You're feeling relaxed. Everything's perfect, right? No like jet lag, whatever. So yeah, that was kind of fun. And yeah, also you can see most flights actually to Cuban at least is actually in the morning, and then we have late evening and morning and whatever. And there's only 63 at night. So yeah, okay. So yeah, and here's basically just a bar chart of what I just said here. Yeah. So yeah, have a look at that. I'm not gonna talk anymore. Don't worry. I've already talked way too much. Okay. Um. Okay. So this one is basically just how the journey day affects the price. So we can see that Wednesday is actually the cheapest day. So it's not Tuesday on holidays at least. So yeah, but Tuesday, that's the second cheapest day. So yeah, I would maybe say it's true that Tuesday is the cheapest. I mean, even in the holiday, that's true. And you can, when you have a normal work life Monday to Friday, it certainly don't fits in very well with the Tuesday. So yeah, that makes sense that that's not good. But even in the holidays, Tuesdays are still cheap. So that's probably right. That it is cheapest to fly on holidays. On Tuesdays, sorry. All right. And here we can also see like the busiest days. So that's actually like pretty much the same. A little bit more flights fly on Saturdays, but Fridays is still a little bit more expensive. Yeah, but yeah, kind of the same. So, uh, oh, I just had a Danish term in my head that I wanted to say, but I don't know how to say it in English. But yeah, if a lot of people want it, then the price will follow. That's not what it's called, but you get the idea, right? Okay. Um, and then this one, because I would like to investigate or look into um, how the amount of stops actually affects the price. And when I first saw this, I was kind of surprised because, as you can see, the flights with zero stops is actually the cheapest. And I was like, what? That don't make any sense. But then I printed out this one. The the yeah, what's it called? How many times it actually appears in the data set. So zero stops actually only appears 7 times. And then I looked into those further and I saw that they were kind of out of season. So that was why the it looks like it's cheaper to fly with zero stops. Um, yeah, so that explains it. This little line right here. So if you're working with a smaller data set, definitely go check that out. If you're confused why some things are not the way that you first thought they would be, um, like me. So that's the reason. But now you can see that 3, 2, 1. So that makes perfectly sense, and that we also have some more data here. So yeah, so possibly if more flights were actually flying to Coupon, or I've just scraped through a year, I'm sure the results would be different. So that's again some things you have to take into consideration when working with a smaller data set. Okay, so yeah, so what I did here was that I wanted to see if there's any correlations, and for that a heat map is a great indicator. So I converted the outstops numbers to an actual number because it was actually a string, and then the heat map don't know what it is, and so yeah. Or maybe it does. I'm actually not sure if the heat map knows, but sometimes if you want to make some calculations yourself, of course you cannot calculate 1 plus 1 if it's a string. Then it don't know. Like okay, maybe it knows, but then it will say 1 1, and that's not what you wanted it to. So yeah, nonetheless, it's now an integer. Okay. Yeah, and I also put the journey day into numbers so that the computer can understand it. And here I also converting duration to a number. So like the problem with that was that as you can see is 4 hours and 5 minutes, and the computer cannot understand that, so I had to take care of that. And I did that by saying that this should be turned into 4.17, I think it was, because 5 minutes in a as a number, um, like compared to an hour, is 0.17. So this is 4.17, and the same for like yeah, if this was 25 hours and 30 minutes, it would be 25 comma and then 50, like that. So again, yeah, so the computer can understand it. So did I go too far? Yeah, it was here. All right. And then I basically just replaced like everything. Maybe there is a smarter way of doing this. I'm sure there are. but I just replaced every single word, and then I actually converted it into a list because I could not. The thing was that sometimes it was, the strings lengths were different, and I could not cut out the start of the string, so I actually converted it into a list, and then I inserted a character into a string array with the value comma, so it will get the comma. So yeah, very very stupid here. I'm sure there is a smarter way, but nonetheless, they will work. Yeah, and then I also converted it into zero decimal. So yeah. Yes, and then I replace comma with a dot. I don't know why I don't just replace it with a dot instead of replacing it down here. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but it works. It's now a float, and we can now explore the heat map. One thing here, I'm not really gonna mention it too much, but as I said, it's an exam project, so we had a lot of data. We also have some other data with some reviews, which we are comparing to see if there's any correlation between the reviews and the price, because a company might be expensive because there's good service, good staff, good food, whatever, and that is something that possibly will end up in some good ratings. So that could be the reason why airlines are so expensive, because yeah, they serve always free, nice food, whatever. So we took another data set, looked at the reviews. Of course, there is no reviews for the flights I was scraping, because they weren't even, like, they haven't even taken place yet, so you can't make it a review review in the future. Yeah, yo, there was none. So yeah, but that's another talk. So I'll just show you the heat map. And then you can see that the price and the out duration has some kind of correlation here, I guess you could say. And we can also see that there are some things that correlates with each others. What can we see? We can see that, yeah, okay, the rating and the outstops number also have some kind of correlation, but I can't really talk about that because I don't even showed you the last the other data set. So yeah, but that totally makes sense, because like the more stops you make, the more things can go wrong. So that's understandable why there is a little correlation there. Um, and of course outstops numbers and the out duration also have some kind of correlation. That's also very expectable. Um, yeah. So let me just check one thing here. So is Journey that popular? You saw in the other graph that there was a little bit of a correlation, where you actually saw the values and the median and whatnot. And here you can see that the price and the is Journey there popular have not really a correlation. Maybe if I had more data, that there would be a stronger correlation. Not really sure, but there is a lot of other factors that plays in, and that's probably why we see that it says that there's not really a correlation. Um, yeah. Yeah. And down here, I was basically just playing around, like seeing if there's any correlation with the price and the rating of the flights. And I actually started out by making this, which makes perfectly sense. Yeah, not really. And then I made this, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe there is like in this price range, you can see that the ratings are kind of high, but also something, always be critical to your data. Critical, is that what it's called? always be like suspicious. I guess you could say, like, why is it that way? Like, what? Why is it? Sometimes it don't play out as you think it will. Like this, I thought there was a correlation between price and rating, but then I realized that, like, if you give a lot of money for a flight, then you also expect the service to be very good. That could be a factor, because, like, if you maybe, let's say, if you fly with Wizz Air for 1,000 Danish crowns, and the food was quite okay, you'll give it, like, okay, very very cheap, like that's very cheap, and then you give a good rating because it was very cheap. Like, you could do that, and then the food was okay. And then there's like another one who is paying like 3,000, and the food was better than Wizz Air. There was no delay, there was no nothing. But, like, I paid 3,000 for what? And then give a lower rating. So, yeah, there's again a lot of factors that you have to wrap your head around, basically, and try to eliminate as much as you can to see the correlations. Yeah. So, yeah, that was what I've trying to do, especially with this such the small data set as I got here. But I think that was it. And, well, I look at the clock, and it's already been 47 minutes. I don't know how the time just flies past sometimes. Yeah, but I hope you liked the video. And if you did, please leave me a comment. That would be very, very much appreciated. Even if it's negative, just put it in. Maybe try to tell me why it was, what I can improve or whatnot. Don't just write shit video, because then I'm like, okay, I cannot really use that. So, yeah, please, whatever. If you have any questions, whatever, leave me a comment and I'll answer them. And if there is a video that you want me to explain a little bit more deeply, like some of the things here, or how you could convert the data that you scrape into multiple CSV and then merge them together, or whatever, how to do that, please let me know. Anything related to what I just showed you, I will definitely hit back. Text you back, and maybe make a video about it. So, yeah, with that said, I hope you liked the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.